Welcome to another episode of A Students to Classified Market Supporting Guide, the professional segment of the Intentional Intern podcast. We are rounding out the last few days of July, and something that I always notice when it comes to summer is that people always have this refreshed, new confidence when it comes to the summer months, and just feeling like there's the ability to do anything. Luckily, within this episode and with my special guest, we have a lot of gems that are dropped that will still make you feel like you're enabled to do anything that you put your mind to, no matter what season it is. I'm very excited to introduce Naomi Davis on the podcast today. Professionally, Naomi is in digital strategy as an account manager for large client solutions at Google. Beyond her 9-to-5, she's the founder of What Can't You Do?, a brand and company centered around strengthening people's personal brands. However, it doesn't stop there. From also being an artist, a sports enthusiast, a mentor, and a motivational speaker, Naomi truly is a jack of all trades. Throughout the episode, we focus on all of that and more. Naomi and I talk about her amazing career journey, the why behind What Can't You Do?, how her passions have intertwined into her professional career, and many of her lessons learned along the way. Naomi is a creative, an inspiration, and an amazing disruptor who's accomplished so much in and out of her career. It makes sense why create, inspire, and disrupt are the founding principles of What Can't You Do? She talks about everything and more that she's accomplished with the growth mindset she has, but she's also an amazing resource to help others do the same. For those who want to connect with Naomi, her LinkedIn will be linked below. I also encourage you all to check out her amazing services listed on whatcan'tyoudo.com to further strengthen your personal brand. With that, let's get into the episode. Hi, Naomi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Amaya?
I'm doing well. It's Friday.
It's Friday. Happy Friday. Woo woo.
Everyone out there, I pray you're listening to this on a Friday too.
Yes, man. We need that relaxation. It's just a lot going on this summer.
We need a good vibe, and I'm so happy that you were able to come on to the podcast.
Of course. Woo, 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 woo.
Yes, so excited to have you, and I would love for you to introduce yourself as many ways as you can because you're doing so much right now.
Of course. Yeah, so hey everyone, my name is Naomi Davis. I'm a digital strategist, I'm a musician, an artist, an athlete, a creative spirit, all that. I'm here. I'm excited to be on the podcast.
She's her. That's so good. And I'm so happy you're here.
Of course.
And for those of you who don't know, I love to be able to connect with people a lot, especially through LinkedIn. So that's how Naomi and I met.
Yes.
And I know she's doing such big things right now. So I would love to ask you, between everything that you do, what does a day-to-day look like for you?
Man, my days are super long, especially during the week. But, you know, my day-to-day, my 9-to-5 is at Google Digital Strategy, where I work with clients. I help, build their marketing strategies and things like that. But outside of my 9-to-5, my 5-to-9, basically, I'm either, playing tennis, I'm playing basketball on different type of, teams. I'm a CEO of What Can't You Do, which is my brand. So I'm doing a lot of things with that, which is like resumes and things like that. So after work, I'm doing a whole bunch of resumes and networking on LinkedIn. But every day is different. Every day is different. Every week is different. Some days or some weeks I'm traveling and things like that. So it's all different.
Okay, well, I think you just provided us the perfect structure for this episode. And let's start with your 9-to-5, right? So let's start with Google and digital strategy and business. Let's start with before that. So how did you get to where you are right now in your 9-to-5? Tell us a little bit about your story with that.
I feel like it started from high school, to be honest. I graduated from Westlake High School here in Atlanta, Georgia. And it started off my junior and sophomore year. My teacher, she recommended me to do this summer program at Georgia Tech. It was a math program where we got to do some super cool, projects and things like that. And that kind of built my love for Georgia Tech. So I ended up applying. That was my number one choice. I only wanted to go to Georgia Tech. So I went to Georgia Tech. My freshman year, I got a internship at Press Sports. I'm super big into sports, entertainment, marketing, those type of things. So basically, yeah, I got that internship and I kind of built off of that. Got that internship and it led on to 7 different internships in my college career. And then I went full-time at Google.
That is amazing.
100%.
For those of you who haven't read her about section, read that. She's been at so many different companies and she's bounced around in so many different industries. And now you're at Google doing digital strategy and business. So for those who don't know, what is digital strategy and business within your career?
Yeah, so basically everything that you see on YouTube, Google search, display, like any type of ads that you see, I'm working with clients to help strategize on how they should, market themselves to different people because, they have different target audiences, they have different goals, they have promotions and things like that. So that's me helping them strategize and, getting all this background information to help them, market themselves out to the people.
Yeah, so you're helping them thrive.
Yeah, helping them thrive, helping them make monies, millions, billions, all that.
I love that. And I love how you're able to not only work externally and help people out in building themselves and helping them thrive, but you do that internally too at Google. I just saw your announcement about the Google Bold program.
Yes, oh my gosh, I love them. I love the Google Bold. That was my one way into Google. I love them, to the bottom of my heart.
Congratulations. And for those who don't know what the Google Bold program is about, can you enlighten us a little bit?
Yeah, of course. Google Bold is the non-engineering part of Google, basically. All the finance, marketing, strategy, HR, anything that you can think of that's non-engineering, that's what Bold is all about. They have their Bold Immersion, which is basically a 3-week program for sophomores in college to help them build their personal and professional development, things like that. Luckily, I'm a mentor and a cohort lead this year. And then they also have their Bold internship, which is basically for those rising seniors. So I love Bold. I mean, it's a great pipeline into the tech world, like on the business side. Basically, like you're really kind of exploring the business side of a technology company, which is amazing for people that are not into engineering. So I love Bold.
I love that. I love that you're also in a lot of different areas. So you're not just sticking to one place, which doesn't seem like it's like you at all.
Yeah.
Any sphere.
Yeah.
And so transferring out of that, you talking about mentorship and how you got to where you are, but also helping other people thrive in another way with your brand that you mentioned earlier.
What can't you do?
What can't you do? Let's talk about the story behind that. Can you tell us, where did that come from? How did you get that tagline?
Yeah, let's talk about what can't you do. So in middle school, I mean, I was that kid that was on the stage during Black History Month rapping and flipping, but I was also that kid on the honor roll list, all that type of things. And my friends, they would always come up to me. They were like, Naomi, like, what can't you do? Like, what can't you do? Like, you're doing all these things. You're playing tennis, you're playing basketball, you're rapping on the stage, you're doing good in school. Like, Naomi, what can't you do? And I kept on hearing that throughout my middle school years. And I kind of built that into my own brand starting in high school. So that's where What Can't You Do came from. It's basically like, there's nothing that you can't do, with the right mindset and the right, energy, there's nothing that you can't do. And I really believe that 100%. Like if you put like the right actions into your goals and you set clear intentions about your goals, there's nothing that you can't do. And that's what Can't You Do is all about. And I want more people to kind of like incorporate this energy because it's really helped me throughout my early career journey. And I want that to help other people.
Yeah, so are you known as Naomi What Can't You Do Davis?
100%, 100%. Like, people are like, yeah, Miss What Can't You Do? What can't you do? Like, I even got a DM the other day. Somebody, like, said they saw the acronym What Can't You Do? And they were like, Naomi, like, every time I hear that, I think of you. I think of you for that, and I really love that.
Yeah, you're a staple for it. You're a symbol.
100%.
Especially for early career. You're a symbol in that. And throughout like your early career journey, what do you think were some of your biggest challenges that you were facing while you were still continuously keeping this mindset of what can't I do?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest challenges for me was being the youngest in the room. I started so early, like high school, being at Georgia Tech and doing that program where I was always the youngest in the room. Even when I moved to Chicago from my Google internship, I was living in like a big old penthouse. I mean, literally the front desk lady, she didn't even believe that I lived there. Like, it was just all these type of things. Like, people always underestimate you or doubt your potential because of your age, your race, your gender. And that's what's been my biggest challenges throughout this, because I'm so young, but I am like really, really building my career. So that was like the biggest challenge for me, is like being a really young person within this field and thriving in this field. But, it's all about, being true to yourself and knowing who you are, and just, being glad that you're in these rooms, because I love being the youngest in the room, to be honest, because that just means that I'm not the smartest in the room. I don't want to be the smartest in the room, because that just means I'm learning from other people, and that makes me grow a little bit, more. So I love it. I love it, to be honest. It's my biggest challenge, but I love it the most.
Biggest challenge, but greatest opportunity.
100%.
See, I feel the same way. I graduated college in 2.5 years, my undergrad. So now I'm at my master's.
Let's clap it up for that.
Thank you. So I'm doing the last, 1.5 years doing my master's.
Yeah.
And I always thought about that of, I'm a lot farther than I think I am right now.
Right.
Because sometimes you can reduce yourself internally because of your age.
100%. Yeah.
And that was my biggest challenge of understanding, am I doing enough? Do I think I'm doing enough? Because I used to have that internal challenge of, because I am young, maybe I should take a step back. And
never.
Once I had a mentor who told me like, oh girl, no. Like, she heard me one time say, oh, it's fine. Like, it's not important. She said, never say that your stuff is not important.
Never said that. Never said that. Because what you say, your words are important. Your words are very powerful. How you speak about yourself is very powerful. And that's another thing that I like to speak about, is like personal brand, and, how you speak about yourself is really, really important.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because for me, actually, that's one of the biggest things that I'm working on right now. So as the podcast continues to grow and I'm looking to work and expand and do all these fun things, I never thought people would want to hear about the person behind the mic.
Man, never. There's so many people that want to learn from you. There's so many people that are trying to like build a podcast. Like, you never even know, because people are so quiet behind, the phone, behind social media and things like that. You never know who's watching. So just might as well do it to your, to 100%, 110%.
And I think you are a great example of that. And if you could give 3 tips right now in terms of personal branding that you think everybody should use and everybody should be aware of when starting out and building themselves, especially to your degree, what would those be?
Man, the most important thing is your best self is your most authentic self. Like, if you try and be someone who you're not, you cannot maintain that for the long run. You cannot maintain that for the long run. So your authentic self is your best self. That's my number one thing, to be honest, that I tell people. That's the number one thing. And also, like, it depends on like where you're trying to build your personal brand. Like, what is it? Like, if it's with business things, like LinkedIn is the best place to build your personal brand, because you're able to post, you can be a thought leader in different type of areas, different type of topics, things like that. But being true to yourself and being happy, just bringing that happiness, that positive spirit is really, really powerful, because it expands around other people. Like, the more positivity that you bring, the more people that absorb it, and then it just makes the world a better place. But my biggest thing is be your authentic self. Like, recognize what truly makes you happy and continue to go after that. And I know a lot of people, they're like, well, what truly makes me happy? It doesn't really like connect with money, because money, truly, it is a big thing. Like, people want to make money. I get it. But, you have to be patient, and patient is such a hard thing. And that's something that I'm truly still working through. It's like patience with my passion and how I can make money off of that or whatever, or make a living and things like that. But it's really about being patient. And my number one positive affirmation, I don't know if anybody out there is into positive affirmations, but I love positive affirmations. And my biggest one is, I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. And that's all it is. I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. I tell myself that every single day. And that's the biggest thing, is being true to yourself, being authentic, and you'll attract the things that truly, align with your goals.
Exactly. And my audience, we do personal affirmations.
Oh yeah. I love that. Shout out to the audience out there.
Oh yeah, we're big on that.
Oh yeah.
And I love that you say that to yourself as well. I don't chase, I attract. And clearly you have attracted a lot of things and a lot of opportunities, not just because of what you've done, but because of who you are. And that's a big part of it. There are some people who have accomplished so many things, but that energy, your energy and who you are, speaks in a room before you even get there.
It does, 100%. People don't really realize that until it happens, but I promise you it does. Continue to be your authentic self, and those right opportunities, they'll come. I promise you.
Exactly. And I want to ask you from your perspective, because you have accomplished so much and you do seem so secure in yourself. You are very confident and very in the front of where you want to be right now. What do you think are one of your favorite, let me think of this, how I can say this in a very kind of fun way, but what do you think is one of your biggest accomplishments right now to you and yourself? And that could be anything, you know?
Yeah. For me, professionally, it would be having my Google TED Talk, basically. So basically, the first day that I joined my team, we had like an icebreaker, basically. And basically, I told them that I opened up for Jason Derulo in college. And I'm really into music. I make music. I was born into a musical family, right? Cool. So I got an email a few months later. They were like, yeah, Naomi, we heard that you love music and things like that. We want you to talk about your passions at this offsite, basically. 500 plus people, basically, of all these Googlers. And I was like, of course, I love the stage. Let's do it. So I came out there. I wanted to have the best, because usually when I do things, I want to be the best at it. Like I want to put on a show, because I am an entertainer. I want to put on a show. So I went out there, I had my little 5-minute talk, and then I ended it with a personalized rap or a song about, the offsite that I was at, and I got a standing ovation. And that was one of my biggest accomplishments, because I was able to combine basically my personal aspect plus my passion of music into each other, and people loved it. Like, it was amazing. And not only was it amazing, but it led me to so many different opportunities afterwards, because I was able to get a recording of that. I posted it around places, and I got a whole bunch of different opportunities from that. One being I'm into sports and gaming. So the producers of NBA 2K TV, they reached out to me. They wanted me to be on this show. So I was able to be on NBA 2K TV twice. Their season finale just came out last week, and I was able to be on that. And it's just amazing, because, I've been playing the game for so long. It's one of my passions. So that was one of my biggest accomplishments, was one, that TED Talk, and then that led me to that one NBA 2K TV episode feature, which was amazing, which is going to lead to whole different opportunities.
It definitely will. And I'm so excited for you, especially from an HR standpoint, that you're able to have such an involved community where you work. And valuing that is so important to me, not only as an HR person, but as a human too, to hear that is something that you're having, and it's allowing you to have all of these different opportunities that aren't just work-based.
100%. It's all about outside, because your 9 to 5 is just your 9 to 5. Like, what do you do outside your 5 to 9 on the weekends? Like, there's more time outside of work than you do at work. So, like, what do you do with that? How do you, stay happy? So it's super important with me. And I just got a message the other day, a DM, and they were just like, I love how Google is able to, let you be you. Because a lot of companies, they don't let you be you. They just want you to work, do your job, don't try and do too much. But Google's not like that.
Be your authentic self.
Be your authentic self. If you don't take anything from this podcast, take this. Be your authentic self, because your authentic self is your best self. I promise you.
They're going to take a lot from this podcast. Fair warning,
Yeah.
But I'm so happy for you in that regard, that you're able to do that, and that you have a company that cares about you and all of you holistically, not just professionally and what you can provide from a 9 to 5. So shout out Google for that.
Hey, shout out to Google. Shout out to Sundar.
And let's get into something that you talked about earlier, of just, it's important for you to be happy, and how you are able to be happy outside of your passions and what you're doing right now and what we've discussed. What are some things that you do when it's your time, you're winding down, you're getting ready to recharge and rest? What do you do?
You know what? Once I walk through the doors of my apartment, work is gone. Work is gone. This is all me. This is my safe space. My apartment is my safe space. If not, then it's my bedroom. My bedroom is my safe space. And one thing that I do, I like to meditate a lot. Once I wake up, I meditate, and it's just 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, saying positive affirmations, just being grateful for my life. That's one small thing that you can do. And then just tapping into your passions, because those passions are the things that truly make you smile. The things that truly make you happy, those are your passions. And so whether that's gaming, whether that's smiling and laughing with my friends on the game, whether that's making music, expressing myself, because sometimes I have problems like expressing myself just like in regular settings. But if I can make a song about something, about a situation, I'll do that 100%. I'm a songwriter. So I make a whole bunch of songs about things. If I need something off my chest, I'm going to make a song about it. So that's kind of like how I unwind my day. I am over 21, so I do like a good glass of wine as well. So, and then I light a candle. I have like thousands of candles in my place. So it's just different things that you just have to really analyze your life and what things truly make you light up, truly things that spark you up in your life, and that's what you go to. That's what you always have to go back to.
Exactly. I'm a candle lover too.
Yes, gotta love candles. Yes.
Gotta love candles. They not only just set a nice mood and set a nice tone, but they just have such a good energy around them of seeing even a flickering flame that is so restful to be like, you can be passionate. Like you can be passionate when you're calm too.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's when you're most passionate, is when you're calming yourself. 100%.
Most of my ideas start to flow then at that point. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about something that you were talking about that was in your release of songwriting. So let's get into the music.
Let's get into the music.
It's that time.
Let's do it.
We've talked about the 9 to 5. Let's look at the 5 to 9. Mm-hmm. So tell me about your career as it pertains to music. What has that been like for you? What age did you start that? I know you said you came from a musical family. Let's take it all the way from the draw. Go all the way back.
All the way back. Well, my mother and my father, they are musicians. My dad, he's a Grammy Award-winning producer. My mom is an amazing, amazing singer. My brother, he's in a band right now. My sister, she's in theater. She's a singer, things like that. Musical family. That's all it is. Like I said, my father is a producer. So it all started when I was about like 3 years old. There's a picture somewhere about me and my father's lap in the studio, just playing with the buttons, trying to learn what he's doing, like start and stop and things like that. So it all just started from there. It just started because my mother and my father, they're musicians. I used to go to their concerts, be backstage, things like that. They're jazz musicians. So it just started from there. And honestly, truly, I grew up not really knowing how to express myself fully. But because I was born into a musical family, music just came so easily to me. Being able to just, get my thoughts out in a song, it came so easily to me just from middle school. So I started like releasing songs 5th grade, and then I released like my first album probably somewhere in middle school, and then it just kept going up from there. But that is definitely my safe space, and that's how I get like my emotions, all the things that I need to get out, writing a song.
That's such a flex. Oh my gosh, yeah, I had an album come out in middle school,
100%. I mean, it probably wasn't really good, but at least I was saying what I needed to say.
That's fire though. You were expressing yourself, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have those phases when we look back at stuff that we did like earlier in life, and we're like, did we really do that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I have that all the time.
It was where you are, and that's how you express yourself in life. So that's super cool to hear. And I also have a musical family as well.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah, on my mom's side, my mom is a wonderful singer. She actually had the opportunity to work with Justin Timberlake in college.
Ooh, JT. Okay, JT. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah,
that's a GOAT right there.
Right? He's on tour right now, by the way, guys.
Yeah, he is. Go get your tickets.
And when your family just says something like so monumental like that, but they say it so casually though.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she was like that, and then my granddad, he was a jazz player too. He did saxophone.
Okay.
So that was his thing of being in that space. So then me and my sister, she took up percussion and band. Mm-hmm. I decided to be like Squidward and take the clarinet. Mm-hmm. But awesome. I definitely understand the value of music and how it allows you to release and express yourself. Even from, you being a songwriter. For me, I didn't write songs, but even just taking the clarinet and just vibing out with it and just expressing through my breath work and all of that. Like it allows such a good escape for you to feel so much better, but you're also listening to what you're making. It's like a dual release almost.
Music is so powerful. It's crazy. Music is so powerful. That's all I got to say about that.
It's the only universal language we all can get behind.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when can we expect something for you? When we?
I mean, I'm dropping stuff all the time. I dropped the album probably a few months ago. I haven't been writing lately because I've been a little bit busy, but I mean, I'll probably drop something sometime this year, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do your projects normally, because this is a super interesting topic for me, I always think about when artists are releasing albums and how they're putting together all of these albums and what they're thinking about in their mindset. What does that look like for you in your brain of when you're thinking about songwriting and you're putting together all these tracks? Is there a theme behind it? Do you just choose what's best for you or what songs stand out to you? Tell me about your thought process and your creative process.
Yeah, so usually I just write songs that come to me. If there's like some type of situation that happened in my life, I'm going to write about that song. I'm going to record it. So usually when I'm recording, I record songs and maybe I might not like it in the beginning. I might not like the way that it sounds. I might not like the lyrics or anything like that. So I just write a whole bunch of songs. I just write, record. If I like it or not, I just keep it, whatever. But usually when I release albums, it's around a theme of my life that's going on. So, let's see, back in 2021, I released an album called What Can't You Do? That's my brand. I mean, that's when it was really building. I was like, what can't you do? And basically that whole album, because it was called What Can't You Do, I had different genres. So I had like hip hop, I had rock, I had jazz, I had R&B, things like that. It's like, what can't you do? I can do any type of genre. That's just what was in my head. So yeah, when I'm writing songs, I mean, it's about what's going on in my life right now. It's kind of like a musical journal for me. Like I you know, how people journal. It's basically like a public journal that I put out on what's going on in my life. So that's really what songwriting is for me.
And of course I want to ask, because you're talking about what can't you do? And I think that's such an innovative topic and concept for you, from hip hop to rock to jazz, really challenging yourself to see what really can't I do, which seems like we haven't hit that yet. So for you, in terms of collaboration, so thinking about in the future, you have the opportunity to collab with any celebrity that you would think of for songwriting, because clearly there's nothing you can do.
Right.
Like, there's nothing you cannot do. Who would be your top 5 that you?
Ooh, top 5?
I'm not giving you all of them. I'm not giving you a lot. I'm not giving you an open question. I'm giving you top 5 right now for the season of your life that you're in. Who would you collaborate with?
Okay, number 1, I'm going with Jaden Smith. I love Jaden Smith. I love Jaden Smith to the bottom of my heart. He is like, his whole brand of Misfits. That's all me. Like, I like kind of incorporated his whole brand into my brand. So Jaden Smith is going to be number 1. Simply is going to be.
Can we talk about that? Because actually,
man, we can talk about this all day. This could be the whole podcast if we talk about Jaden Smith.
Look, I didn't know that. That's my top artist.
Oh! Man, that's why we locked in, twin. That's why we locked in.
Literally, my friends and I, we are going to do a shoot next weekend inspired by Jaden Smith.
Wait, what?
Literally.
Man, I love Jaden Smith. I mean, I even got Misfits podcast. You can't see this, but I have Misfits tatted on me. Like, that's how much I really love like what he stands for and his brand and his mission, his vision. I love all of that, and I even got it tatted on me.
Yes, I have his vision racers in my closet.
Man, I have 7 pairs of his vision racers. Seriously, I do.
I love his concepts and what he wants to do for the world. It's so different. And I remember when people used to make fun of him for it. And I was just like,
man, they can have their own opinions. I don't want to hear none of that. All the hate, they don't understand. It's okay.
Exactly. And, you know, people always talk about the most insane people are the people who are going to do things that people can't. And they won't.
Yes, exactly. I mean, jealousy is big. Jealousy is huge, to be honest.
Yeah. So. And I can see from your, you know, clearly good taste that innovation is something that definitely strives within everything you want to do. Definitely similar to his concepts of everything he's doing, from feeding the homeless with the I Love You truck and down to
just water.
All the time. And how he wants to be able to create a better conscious planet for us, but also for the next generation.
Big on conscious, yeah.
Advocating for the people who are not seen as in the room, the misfits, the us.
The misfits, the us. Yes, man. Ooh, we locked in, twin.
We locked in.
We locked in.
Well, side note off of that, let's go back into who are taking your top 4 spots after Jaden Smith.
Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna go with Tierra Whack. Tierra Whack, I really like her unique sound. I just really love her sound. Who else? Who are we going with? I think I'm gonna go with like it's gotta be somebody different, like Earth Gang or Jid or Shmino.
I was thinking Shmino in my head.
It's gotta be like Shmino. It can't be anybody like dang, this is hard. This is hard because it's got to be like really, really original people with original sound. I really do love Janae Aiko. But yeah, I have to go with like Jaden Smith, Tierra Whack, Shmino. Those are like my top 3. I don't know if I can give you 2 more. I'm sorry. I don't know. But those are my top 3.
Okay, we can do. Those are the top 3. Top 4 is everybody. Top 5 is else. Everybody else. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Everybody else.
Everybody else
Everybody
is in
else.
there.
Yeah. I love that.
I love that you have such a creative mind in terms of you're choosing to choose the people who have individual unique sounds just like yourself. Mm-hmm. Nobody has a sound like Smino. Nobody has a sound like Tierra Whack. Nobody has a sound like Jaden Smith. Nobody even has a sound like Willow Smith. Like,
oh my gosh, her new album, if y'all haven't listened to it, I promise you, like, go light a candle and listen to Willow's new album. Oh my goodness, it's mind changing.
Yeah, I love her new album. And I studied anthropology in undergrad.
Oh.
So I was very much into like the research and understanding the full perspective. That's where my view of holistic HR and where I was like, okay, I'll enter corporate for this. It came from. And seeing her journey of how she actually learns the music and the history and the study behind it, and then how she's orchestrating how her music is produced and curated. I love it because it has so much thought into it beyond like the normal thought that we would think of from a musical composer standpoint,
100%.
but from an intentional research and history standpoint. And she advocates and challenges people to also understand that as well. Of no, really listen to my music, not just what I'm saying. Listen to how everything is put
I'm telling you,
together.
you have to like I said, light a candle and sit on your couch and really listen to what she's saying and really like feel the vibe. So I promise you, it's amazing.
You got to be silent, like
yes.
I imagine it like if you've seen Ratatouille before.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So you know that.
Oh, when he ate that first bite. Yes, it's just like
with the cheese and the and the fruit. Exactly. Yeah. See, wow, we're really locked in right now.
Locked in.
Okay, exactly like that, where you see it coming off in your brain. And something for me when I was a little kid and kind of up still till now. Back when I had like my first Spotify OG count. See, this is my middle school cringe moment. So I would listen to songs and I would see colors pop up. Like literally like, oh, okay, so you're going in like this separate place. So I used to categorize things by colors and everybody else was like, we don't get what this means. But I'm like, no, like think about it. You can feel the vibe right now.
Yeah,
and
vibe, big on vibe.
I still do that to this day. That seems like an olive green. And people look at me like, what are you talking about right now? But it's
it's different. It's the difference between a creative mind and a one who's like at least like less creative. Like 100%.
And I think everybody has the opportunity to be creative because I didn't start out that way. You know, being in corporate and then of course with such a STEM background, I also had a minor in marketing. I wasn't always on that side of creative until the podcast. I was more standard on the analytics. I was more for the structure. But that was a big thing for me of having to not unlearn that, but be able to incorporate the creative stuff that was at the back of my mind since I was a kid when it started to come forward. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, this is a little different.
Yeah.
Because there is no structure. It's just vibe.
Yeah, it's just vibes.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Live your life.
Live
your life and it's gonna come to you.
Hello?
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that 100%.
Everybody has their own journey, and in your case, you have a lot of different journeys that are happening at the same time. Your life path is not just one, but many. And they don't all blend together. It's almost like your own tree of sorts. So this is your set of like your
different
family
branches.
tree. This is your life tree. Exactly. You have your roots from like the musicality within your family to how you just kept grinding and hustling and whatever you would do, no matter what the age. And it branches out to all these different opportunities. And even from that and stemming, things will grow. Like your branch with Google, that's a branch in itself, but all your opportunities that have came from that are these leaves and flowers that sprout as you continue to go through seasons.
You're
and
saying
grow
it best. You're
in
saying
life,
it the best.
you know?
Yeah. You're saying it like perfectly right now. 100%. Yeah.
The visual is kicked in, I'm telling you.
I'm just seeing, I'm like looking at this tree growing. I'm like, yeah, Google, sports, music. I see all that. I love it.
No, yeah. And back onto that music point, what's your favorite song right now? What's in rotation for you?
My favorite song of all time is 90 by Jaden Smith.
Ooh.
That song is probably like, 8 minutes maybe? But it is powerful. It's so many different, it's like low beat, high tempo, low tempo. Like you feeling it, you in your feelings, you crying, you pumping in the car. Man, that song is great. 90 by Jaden Smith.
Man, you are real.
Yeah.
No, I love that. One of my favorite songs, I think probably my top 2. Distant is one.
Okay.
And then somebody else. He ate on that.
I don't need your love. I just need someone else. Yes. I love that.
He ate that. And it's because you can see so many of his songs in different contexts. I've listened to that song when I was in a heartbreak. I listened to that song when I wasn't in a heartbreak. And I'm like, these feel completely different to me. And you have a different experience every single time.
Man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this, man. Jaden Smith is a powerful artist.
He is a powerful artist. And
because he's just emotional. You don't see that in other artists. Like you don't see like the emotional side of things and like how you're going through real stuff. Like this artist is going through real stuff and real things. So I love it.
No, yeah, and I said I wanted him to be one of the guests, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes,
man.
So I'm gonna have to bring him back.
You gotta bring him back. I actually got a picture with him, man. I got to meet him and Willow at one of his concerts in 2019 or 2019 or something like that. But yeah, man, that would be a great guest.
See, I met him in 2022 when he was down here for an arts festival at the Underground.
Oh, yes. I was supposed to go there. I wasn't able to make it. But, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was so chill. We had the nicest conversation, like a 20-minute conversation talking about education. And he was actually one of the first people that I told about my podcast.
Oh, nice. Yes, I love it.
It was so crazy. And I'm like, okay, now it's actually here. And then you're in this new space. The last time you met him, look, now you can catch up.
Yeah, look, we got this podcast, man. Come on this podcast.
Yeah, we got so much going on. And see, now I want to ask you, what do you think is your favorite album from him?
Sire. Easy. Sire. I don't think any album will be as good as Sire. Like, I don't think, like, Iris wasn't good as Sire. CTV 3 wasn't as good as Sire. Sire is his best album. And there will be no album that tops that.
I loved Sire. I even loved the electric version when he put out that. And I loved, even down to his YouTube releases and them SoundCloud releases. I remember.
Man, SoundCloud, the Cool Tapes, Tapes #1, that was probably my favorite album as well. Yeah. I
don't remember the name of the song, but I think it was like Ocean Blue or something. It was with, I remember
Blue Ocean. It was a remix of Justin Timberlake's song, I think, or something like that. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that YouTube video went triple platinum in my house.
Yeah.
Maybe certified.
I was probably listening to Jaden Smith on my way here, to be honest.
Yes, I still remember. Like, I met a girl at Coachella. Like, when he was doing.
Yes, that's amazing. That's amazing.
And it's just stuff that sticks with you. And I think even down to what we were talking about earlier of just personal brand, we wouldn't listen if it wasn't from someone who had so much intention, but also there's power in what you hold and power within your music and how you choose to showcase that with the world. And I can see that big connection for you as well, because you guys have that same similarity and you have that power at Google. You are like that. You are yourself. Like, you are not another Jaden Smith, but you hold just as much power in that regard of how you share yourself and how you share your story.
Yeah, and super powerful for me because it's my story. I mean, it's my life. I feel like everyone should be like that. If everyone that's listening right now wrote their own book, nobody would have the same chapter. Nobody would have the same page. Your story is your story, you know? So own it. Live by it. Like, you are unique. So own it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly. And you have so much soul. Like, not just in your music, but just in, again, everything that you do. There's that soulful connection that really increases like your flame. That's why people don't give up on what they do. When that's something that's just embedded in you, that's in your DNA. And I can clearly see all of that is within your DNA. You're just built like that.
Yeah.
Like literally, like
humbly. Yeah.
Yeah. You're running off of, what you have, and you have literally flipped it over.
And it's really unfortunate to see other people not be able to live like that, because that's what Can't You Do is all about. It's like, really, seeing yourself, seeing your authentic self in yourself and really living by that. Because a lot of people don't live by their authentic self and they're really sad or mad about their lives. And I just hate seeing that, because once you start living your authentic self and you don't care what other people think about you, man, you are happy. You're living a happy life. Like, everything is just way better. And so that's what Can't You Do is all about. It's just living your authentic self and being proud about who you are, being confident about what you bring to the table and all those things.
Exactly. And sometimes that takes you challenging yourself.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to look in the mirror, your phone camera, computer screen, whatever you got around you where you can see your reflection. Look at yourself in that moment right there and ask yourself, not necessarily what can't you do, but what can I do in this moment to get me there, to where I'm feeling like, what can't I do?
Yeah.
And put yourself back in that moment.
I'm telling you, your biggest growth will happen in your most uncomfortable situations. Like, it will. Like, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and not like super, like, I don't want to do this. Like, not like super, super uncomfortable, but like, where you just have to push yourself, push yourself towards your goals. You have to, like I said in the beginning, like, set those intentions and do the actions to get there.
Exactly. And I love that you're a champion of that. And I want to ask you from your perspective of what you've been doing, not just within the work that you've done with yourself and the shadow work and what that's like, but for other people. Maybe you can have some enlightening on this, but when you were ever feeling like you were in those situations where you were overcoming a new challenge, what are some things that you asked yourself, and whether you were entering a new chapter of your life or you were overcoming something, when you were thinking about that next step, what are some things that you looked in the mirror and you asked yourself of, okay, what question do I need to ask myself to get this work going where I need to go?
See, it wasn't really like asking myself a question. It was more being grateful of what I've already achieved, and really going back and really, kind of like setting that in my mind. Like, what have I already achieved, knowing that I can achieve this? What challenges have I already overcome in my past? Or overcame in my past? That is something that I really just go back on, because like, I can do it. I can do anything that I put my mind to. That is what Can't You Do is all about. And when I'm going through new challenges, I think about the old challenges that I've gone through that's probably worse than the one that I'm going through right now. And I overcame that. Like, you overcome all the challenges that you get through. So like, why can't you overcome this one? So that's just something that I always go back to my mind and being grateful about, all the skills and all the things that I've accomplished over my life. Because when a new challenge comes, it's gonna pass. Like, it's gonna pass. I'm gonna get through that because I have before. That's the mindset that I have. You just have to be patient. It's a hard thing. It's really, patience is so hard. But you got to have good patience with yourself, and you got to be really confident in yourself that you're going to get through this just like you had before.
And see, I even thought about that, like what you just said, in question mode of, have I kept myself rooted in gratitude today? Have I said thank you for what I had today?
Gratitude is huge.
It's such a big thing, where when you feel like you're at your lowest, well, my dad always says this all the time. You got your health. You got your own crib wherever you're at.
Right.
Know? And however that is for the audience, you have a roof over your head, for a lack of better words, of think about the things like, I really do have all these things that allow me to continue building on where I'm at.
Yeah.
Of, I have this space, I have this XYZ, whatever that looks like for you. And then think about, oh yeah, I have this, so I can do this. For me, it's, I have my own space, so I can enable myself to decompress, let it go, and refill my energy and how I need to in a positive way.
100%.
Having to transmute that.
And I'm going to be real. It's not easy. There are times where bad things after bad things after bad things after bad things happen. I promise you. It's hard to keep a positive mindset when bad things keep on happening. I promise you, I understand that, and I want to recognize that. Because a lot of people, they're like, yeah, you can keep this positive mindset, but just things are not good right now. Bad things just keep on happening. And I understand that, and I want to recognize that has happened, because that has happened with me. But it's just keeping an overall faith in yourself and overall confidence that you are going to get through that, and there's nothing that you can't do. You're not going to die from this situation. Simply, you're not. So just keep that mindset and keep on pushing through. Go back to your passions. Go back to the things that keep you happy. Go back to the people that keep you happy. And I promise you, it's just gonna, growth is not linear. It's gonna look like a squiggly line. It's gonna look like mountains, things like that. It's not gonna be linear. But if you just keep on going back to those things that keep you happy, that keep you on track, you're gonna be fine in the long term.
You said it best. Because that's real. There are so many things, and there are some times, and I'm going to say this as well for the audience, we've talked about manifestation and meditation and journaling.
Don't bring up my key word right there, manifestation.
We are getting it, and see, now we got something else to talk about. But we're talking about all these practices and things that we use to help enable ourselves. There are definitely times when things are just bad, and I'm fighting through my meditation, literally. Some days where you can't sometimes. You may be in that space where it's like, nah, I don't want to journal right now. I don't want to meditate right now. It's okay to skip a practice. If it is not feeling like it is going to benefit you, if it does not feel like it is going to provide you what it normally does, or it could be worse than that, and you're better off just not doing it, don't. Don't push yourself past your capacity, because one thing about your capacity is it is not the same every day. Something that you could have handled maybe 3 hours ago before something bad happened, your capacity is lower now.
Yeah, we can get into burnout too, because that's what it sounds like. Burnout is another thing. You can push yourself, but you don't want to get burnt out. You want to do things that prevent your burnt out, your burnout.
And burnout is so hard to recover from. The journey to get there is very subtle, very it builds on you. It is very cumulative, and how it can just be thing after thing after thing, and they're small things, but then let it be one more small thing that's stacked up on a pile of other things that you weren't even thinking about. Think about if it was a stack of books, and then it just takes one more book before this thing falls over, you're out. Your whole tower tumbles to where you have nothing left. And it's so hard to build back from that, because your brain and your body are on E. Yeah. And so now you're trying to build up something you don't have, versus something that you had is now being taken down.
Yeah. You speaking facts right now.
Because I've lived through it.
Yeah. I mean, me too. I get it. I 100% get it. So yeah, 100%.
And keep in mind, we're not able to put these visuals together just out of thin air of things that we haven't experienced before. We're able to articulate it so well because these are things that we've had time to not only experience, but be able to reflect on.
Yes.
And now talk about that. Yes. That's a big part of it, of not just, I've been through it, so I understand. I've been through it, I've reflected on it, and I've communicated with myself of
experience
how this
is so powerful. Experience leads to growth. It simply does. Good or bad experience leads to growth. It does. You need to experience things. I
had a host come on here, or a CHRO. She was my guest speaker. And one thing that she said, if there's nothing that you take away from my episode right now, is that every single experience you have, everything that you go through in life, you will use it for something.
I love that.
Every time. It doesn't matter if it's professional. It doesn't matter if it's personal. It really doesn't matter what it is. But definitely there will be some time that you think back to something in life that you completely forgot about, or things that completely don't deal with what you're dealing with right now. And it will bring you so much solace and peace in whatever you're looking for in that moment.
Yeah.
Or it may provide you the opposite, and just clarity in that moment. It may not be something that mellows you out, but it's something that you need to be aware of. That's even more important when you're making important decisions or taking the next step of whatever that is. Yeah. But don't feel bad about that you're using experiences if they're negative as well.
Oh, never feel bad about that. Yeah, never feel bad about that.
Exactly.
Never feel bad about your experience, because your experience is your experience. So
yeah. Exactly. That's your life resume.
Yeah, it really is. I love that. Yeah, 100%.
And let's get into, I think a big part that also helps with burnout is something that we did mention earlier, but manifestation is good for that too. It is also very powerful when coupled with affirmations, but manifestation is huge. I can think about so many different forms of manifestation that's gotten me to places that I never would have dreamed of. But like we can swap stories, because I think I can definitely think that you have a good one.
Oh man, yeah, manifestation is so huge. Like we could talk about this all day, but I mean, like I said, it's before like manifestation. People think it's like wishing and hoping. Like, I don't want to have all these bills. I want to get this high paying job and blah, blah, blah. It's not, manifestation is not about wishing and hoping. It's about setting clear intentions and doing actions that align with those goals that will help you get there. Like, it's like people think manifestation is just like fairy godmother, like wishing and things like that. It's not like that. You actually do have to do the work to get to those goals. But it's about really like your voice. Your voice is power. The way that you speak about yourself is power. The way that you talk about yourself, your life is power. And that's all manifestation is. Like, I'm going to have a good presentation. I am going to have an amazing podcast episode. Like, it's just going to be amazing. And you're going to bring that energy and you can continue going with that. And then you're going to have it. Like, it's really about setting those intentions and taking those actions towards that goal. 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's direct and indirect. I remember for me, there's some times where I directly say, hey, I'm about to put in the work for this, and I'm going to, have the best for that. I'm going to have the best intentions and the highest hope for that, and I'm putting in the work. So what I've done is what I can do, and also being safe in that of I've done that all I can do. However it happens, if it's meant for me, it's never going to miss me. And then if it misses me, it wasn't meant for me.
It wasn't. Yes, I was going to say something. Yeah, I was going to say something like that. Like, you have to also be comfortable with your L's. Like, okay, I took an L. Okay, that wasn't for me. Simply. I mean, I remember one time I was interviewing for this internship that I thought I really, really, really wanted. I wanted this internship. It was perfect. It aligned with my passions, things like that. I studied for the internship. I went into the interview. I thought I aced it. I ended up getting an email saying I didn't get it. So I'm like, dang, I didn't get this internship. That's crazy. And I was like, it's going to be okay. It's literally going to be okay. 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from another internship that I was interviewing for, and I got that internship. And that internship ended up being like one of the best internships ever. I got a mentor, like my manager ended up being my mentor. I still talk to her to this day. Shout out to Sade at Warner Bros. Discovery. And she's amazing. And, like taking those L's, just don't take it to heart. Don't take things personally. That is a big tip that I want to give people. Like, don't take things personally. Don't take your L's personally, because that just means it doesn't align with your overall goal.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to that patience piece, too, because I love how transparent you were about that's something that you're actively working on. And to be honest, I think that's a lifelong thing that everybody has to,
It is.
As we get into new seasons, we want, new goals. We hustling for new things. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, I'm here. What we doing?
Right,
what we doing?
Right.
And then you're like,
new year, new me.
Ooh, please. Yeah, the resolutions, whatever the case is. And for me, especially like patience is something that is definitely something of a working skill. But that's so real to think about. It's not personal, and make sure you decompress from that. That's something like, okay, I didn't get something. That's cool. Let me take my little session, give myself some minutes. Look, cry in the corner if I got to right now.
Yeah, it's okay to feel those emotions. Mm-hmm. Also, don't suppress your emotions. Like, for real. If you take that L, it's okay to feel, like, sad about that.
Don't sit in it, though.
Yeah, don't sit in it, but it's okay to feel those emotions, go through those emotions, but get out of that, because it's okay.
Exactly.
It's okay. So, yeah, 100%.
And I don't remember what celebrity said it, but I remember someone said, if I'm going through something, I have a 72-hour rule. And, the first day, if that's something that I'm going through is still in my mind, okay, cool. Second day, if that's something that's still bothering me, all right, still do it. Still deal with it. Third day, by the third day, if I'm really not thinking about it, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But if it goes past that third day, let me put in some more work to address it, because I know that's something that I need to sit down, and maybe I need to talk a little bit more through, not just with myself. Maybe that requires some support for some other people. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm thinking about it in a different way that it shouldn't be thought about, or maybe I'm thinking about it in the way that it's being thought about, but I may need some more support, and that's okay to call for help. And, you know, that's a skill that a lot of people actively have to work on too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're doing everything and, you know, when you are, for me, definitely as a recovered perfectionist, recovering, asking for help can be hard, you know, when it's like,
oh my gosh, I'm a Virgo. I don't know if people are into horoscopes, but I'm a Virgo, and I like that perfectionist stuff is like real.
I'm a Libra.
Okay.
So I'm all about the balance for sure. I think that's one of the key things about my horoscope that was like a little bit scary when I think about it, of just how balanced I want to be. But in terms of, do I allow myself to be balanced sometimes? Indirectly, the answer sometimes is usually no, because it just depends on how much I'm juggling, what I'm dealing with, but also remembering like, oh, right, I have a community. And so now, you know, I'm a lot better about that, where if I'm feeling a type of way, I will reach out to people and make sure you make time. You know, you can be as busy as you need to for whatever you have, but make sure you make time for your community and those conscious connections that keep you rooted, like keep your tree up.
Yes.
You can't cut down your own tree.
You can't like keep your circle tight. I mean, it doesn't matter how small your circle is. Keep it tight. Those true people, those authentic friends that you have, those friends that really keep you up, that keep you your true self, keep them around. I promise you, like as you grow, as you continue to grow, your circle will continue to get smaller. I mean, it will. Off of personal experience. Like I used to, in middle school and high school and college, I thought like the more friends that I had, the more popular, the more cooler I was. That is not how it is, because those people, you know, jealousy is real. Jealousy is real. Authenticity, that's real, you know. So, you know, the smaller your circle, you know, the better. It's all about quality over quantity when it comes to friends. So I totally get that.
And those are experiences that you live through too. And the best thing about just having a community and having that circle is not only is it them being able to help you, but you also get to help them too.
Yes, exactly. So I was just at this offsite basically, and the CMO of Atlanta Hawks, Melissa Proctor, she came to talk, and one of the biggest things that I took away was be an asset, not a liability. Be an asset, not a liability. So that definitely connects to what you just said.
Exactly. And that's multidimensional in being an asset, because you are an asset to your company. You are also an asset to your family. You're an asset to your friends. You are a person that provides value to one's life. Be big on, of course, having your own happiness and your own base, but you want people who add to your life. You don't want people who subtract to it.
Oh my gosh.
Or people who feel like they will need you to make them like to be full. Like, oh yeah, you need me to be full. Like, you're not an asset, you're not a liability, but you are someone who is needed in like this capacity of, if you're gone, then like half of me is gone too.
Oof, that's toxic. That's toxic.
You got like the in-betweens that are even more dangerous of like, you know, with me, you got this. Without me, you don't got this. But, you know, I still got me at the end of the day, and making sure that you recognize that you are a whole person. You are valuable, you as a person, not you coupled with somebody else, or, you know, you do not have to be the side friend that we see in a lot of the movies or XYZ. Like, you are your own individual, and, you know, stand by that. If there's some things that you want to do, if someone don't want to do them with you, that's cool, but don't let that be something that makes you go away from the things that you love and that you care about in that regard to
100%.
fit with something else that doesn't fit your vibe.
Yeah. And I love that we're talking about this, because remind me of the overall kind of like purpose or vision of this podcast, of the Intentional Intern podcast, because I feel like working on like this personal growth, this mindfulness things that we're talking about will definitely tie into your professional intern early career growth. So just remind me of your purpose and vision of your podcast.
Yeah. So for me, my main goal of why I started it was because I want people to continue betting on people's potential. So I started out getting a lot of different internship opportunities and opportunities I never would have had, that when I asked what was it about me, because I had no experience in nothing and none of it, it was how you presented yourself. And that goes beyond your professional, that goes everything. So it was who I was holistically that got me to the places that I wanted to go.
I love that you said that.
People bet on me because they know me. And
that's exactly what I wanted you to say. Yeah.
You know, that is enough. Of who I am was enough, because they knew I was going to get it done regardless. But I was going to get it done in a unique way that was representative of me, that allowed to be of value for everybody else.
100%. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. People only do business with people they know, like, and trust. I mean, like, your personal brand is the number one thing that you should work on, because you become a magnet for opportunities that align with your goals. So I'm so glad that you said that. So I wanted other people to say, I asked that question for a reason. I wanted you to say that because I'm telling you, these opportunities, these people that come to you, they will align to your overall goals. And like I said, people only do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm. And not even just doing business directly, but your name could be getting said in multiple rooms right now, and you don't even know. So not even just people who do business with you in this current time, but that can see you doing business with, hey, somebody else that I know in the future, and somebody else that I know that could.
I mean, the reason that I'm on this podcast right now is because Jade, she quoted me. She was like, hey, I think Naomi will be a great guest on your podcast. That's personal branding. I promise you. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, like, let me reach out. And you were like, okay, DM me. And I said, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, I'm telling you. And that's just building relationships. That's just building relationships and being true to who you are. We could get into a whole nother conversation on what mentorship actually looks like. And, you know, like LinkedIn and DMing people and things like that. I feel like mentorship is something that happens genuinely, that just happens authentically. It's nothing that you really, really force, to be honest. But that can be a whole nother situation. Like, my relationship with Jade was just authentic. I saw what she was doing on LinkedIn. I was kind of doing the same things. We kind of just connected like that, and we're cool just like that. It wasn't like a DM where, hey, can I get a 15-minute, 30-minute informational interview? Blah, blah, blah. I love what you. It wasn't like that. It was just authentic, and those are the best relationships that you can build.
No, exactly. I think a couple of ways. I met all of my mentors currently, like my two, in many different ways. And speaking on Jade, I met her in the same capacity of, oh yeah, I liked what she was doing. And then seeing her where she is now and all the opportunities she is now, it's like, I knew that when I genuinely connect with people on LinkedIn, or when I reach out and I ask, it's because I knew if I saw you on the street, I would still ask you, hey, yo, like, you have something that is so special in your vibe, or things like that. And that's something I probably, people don't realize that on LinkedIn, because I don't start out with that. Oh yeah, I would have reached out to you anyway. But to see Jade from where she was, she already had this big bubble around her of there's something there. There's always something there. And to see where she is now and her growth, it's huge. And the opportunities and being able to have a connective community where we got to meet. And with my mentors, I met one of them through like a program, an HR mentorship program. I said, okay, let me sign up. I signed up. I was like, okay, cool. She was one of the best mentors that I ever had. Like, we were like, okay, we're paired up for like 3 months. And we started talking. Our coffee chat was probably supposed to be like 30 minutes, like the introductory meeting. We were probably sitting there for at least an hour and a half.
I love that.
Sharing astrology books, color astrology books.
Yeah.
And she's laying down what the real is of, this is everything that I've gone through. Let me know what you need. And then I said, likewise, because dual mentorship and
be an asset, not a liability.
Exactly. We are both being beneficial. I'm always going to end off a conversation with, let me know what I can do for you too.
Of course. I love that.
Doesn't matter what space
That's a big
I'm in.
thing for people to take away from that. Like, be an asset, not a liability. 100%.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter what position you're in, whether it's an intern, whether it's just a student, whether you're a CEO or whatever. Let me know what I can do for you, because you never know who anybody else knows too, and what that means. And mentorship is so
be true
vital.
to what you can bring to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mentorship is so vital. Even if you just bring in the table, like, bring the table.
And people can recognize like genuine admiration for somebody rather than like, I want something from you, and I think that's where like a true mentor or a true relationship starts, is just genuine admiration, and people actually like recognizing that. So 100%, I love that.
And I always, when I am reaching out to people, I say, hey, I would love to learn. And I start with, I would love to learn about you. And that's usually where it stops. Like, hey, I just want to learn more about you and like X, Y, Z. I'm not asking for anything yet, because I want to start on a transformational relationship. I do not want to start transactional. I would hate for that to be done to me. And we may ask each other for stuff in the future, but that's in the future, because I want to get to know you, your energy, and your vibe. Because for a lot of situations, and this doesn't pertain to anybody that I've met, but you want to know people's vibes first, so you know what you're getting. Because some stuff ain't good.
Yeah, I get it.
And that may not be awesome. Like personally or just professionally. Like it could be either or, but you got to be careful as well of where you, not only of the energy that is coming in your life of what you bring, but what of your energy that you're giving out. Like you have to be just as reserved with your energy and just as selective too, in the same way that you are going out and expressing with people, because that's a thing that can be draining, and that can also lead to burnout too. There are multiple types of burnout, y'all. Like
oh yeah, different types. 100%. I get it. I love all this.
Yeah, I feel like we're opening the door to just really taking care of yourself. And that goes beyond like the practices and things we've talked about, down to mental health and making sure that you're just keeping up with yourself. And a big part of that mental health and sustaining yourself and maintaining yourself is making sure that you don't lose yourself.
It's like a domino effect. Like once you focus on yourself, everything else will fall in line. Like once you focus on yourself, then you start and you fall, everything else, I promise you, will fall in line. And that's why you should, focus on your mental health, your personal development, then everything else, professional, mental, emotional, all that will fall in line.
Exactly. And I think that's a great note for us to end off on, of just be yourself. Everything will fall in line, and down to from when you started in high school to this moment right now on the podcast and everything you've got. Everything has definitely fallen in line for you.
It has. And it's just the beginning. It's crazy. Like, we're both so young. It's just the beginning. So just continuing to have this mentality, continue to ask yourself, what can't you do every single day? It's going to attract those opportunities. And I'm so excited for both of our futures, for everyone that's listening to this podcast right now who has gotten to this point. I'm so excited for your future as well, because you're invested into your future because you're listening to this podcast right now. So I'm just super excited for the future right now.
Yeah, same. Likewise. I can't wait to see not only where you go next, but where we both go and where all of our audience goes as well. So. And Jaden Smith too.
Oh yeah, Jaden Smith. Let's go on tour, Jaden Smith. Come on.
Yep. Sign us up.
Let's do it. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much again for just being on the podcast, and not only just sharing your story, but sharing just some gems out there and reminding us to always think in our minds, what can't we do? And the answer should always be nothing that we can't put our mind to.
100%. Thank you so much for having me. You're a wonderful host. I love this podcast. I love everything that you're doing. All the people that you bring on this podcast. It's an amazing movement. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Of course. All right.
Thank you for tuning in for another episode of a Students to Classified Market Survival Guide, the professional segment of the Intentional Intern podcast. We hope you all enjoyed the episode and let us know who you want to hear from next. I hope you learned something along the way. See you guys next time.